There is a moment in football when you realize a player isn't just good, they're different. In 2011, Liverpool signed a player who didn't make sense. He'd do something brilliant, then something mad, and then something brilliant again. For 3 seasons, he existed in 2 words. In one, he was a genius, creating from nothing, scoring impossible goals. In the other one, he was chaos, banned, suspended, unpredictable, and somehow both versions made him terrifying. This is a player who could win you a game or get banned the next day. And somehow you needed both. His name is Luis Alberto Suarez Diaz, aka El Pistolero. And this is the story of how genius and madness became the same thing. To put you in context, Liverpool have just lost their hero. Fernando Torres was transferred to Chelsea, to a direct rival, and the Liverpool fans were mad, were furious, because you don't replace a player like Fernando Torres. And instead of finding the next Torres, Liverpool do something strange. So Liverpool decide to turn their attention to a controversial Ajax forward, and before he steps on the pitch, nobody really understood it. Nobody, because he wasn't proven, he wasn't a bigger name.
You just felt no matter who you were playing, you just had a feeling that he was going to win you the game, every game. Didn't matter who it was.
And instantly when he steps on the pitch, something falls off. It's not bad, it's just unusual. We're seeing a guy that scores in tight angles, messy situation, doesn't matter. If there is a chance to create something, he'll find it. It wasn't clean, it wasn't predictable, but it worked. And slowly Anfield started to realize that this wasn't a Torres replacement. This was something new. This was something they hadn't seen before, and it was only the beginning. And on the pitch, he's becoming unstoppable. Not in a nice textbook way, but in a way defenders couldn't even understand. As I said, if there was even a half chance, he would turn into something. And sometimes it didn't even look real. Like that moment, for example, against Norwich. The ball drops from distance, and instead of controlling it, he just lifts it over the goalkeeper from over 40 yards. There is no hesitation, there is no logic, it's just instinct. And then the other side also started to appear, the chaos.
He has that vicious part. I won't call it cheating. You know, he has to score a goal in a malicious way, he will.
And a few examples of some controversial moments. There is that moment against Fulham where he shows the middle finger to Fulham fans after losing 1-0, and he gets immediately banned. And then that ban gets even prolonged a bit later with 8 more games because of that incident with Patrice Evra. He comes back against Manchester United, and what does he decide? More controversy. He decides to refuse to shake his hand with Patrice Evra in the pre-game rituals, and that moment created a lot of controversy.
It's unconventional, everything he does. Yeah. He falls on the floor, fakes an injury. By the time you're arguing with the referee that is faking, he's running in behind.
And there is also this moment in the Merseyside derby, and I think that's one of my favorite Luis Suarez moments. David Moyes in press conference basically says that Luis Suarez just dives, and that's how he basically obtains a lot of penalties. I think Luis Suarez heard it, and during the Merseyside derby he scores, and that wasn't enough as an answer knowing Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez runs and goes in front of him and does a diving celebration to respond to what he had said earlier during the press conference. That was just pure Luis Suarez. One time he's winning you the game, then the next time he's banned or suspended. And it kept happening. Controversy, ban, return, brilliance, on repeat. And that's what made him so difficult to understand, because every time you thought that this was too much, he'd come back the next week and do something ridiculous again. The kind of moment that makes you forget what he had done before, and slowly a pattern from the same player who could win you a game could disappear for the next few games. And clearly this wasn't a phase anymore. This was who he was. But before I talk about the legendary season that you all expect me to talk about, and also this season for me as a football fan, I think it's the best individual season I've ever seen since I watch football. It should all have fallen apart in that summer, because that summer Luis Suarez wants to leave. He feels that the media is always against him, and the relationship with the club is hanging by a thread. But unluckily for Liverpool, the only team that is interested in Luis Suarez is Arsenal.
but Arsenal's third. They offered £40 million and £1 for him and triggered his buyout clause.
So Liverpool hung tight and they don't sell their key man for the season, and what is about to happen is just historical. When the season started, he wasn't just good anymore, he was inevitable.
Right now, the best striker in the world, striker in it, it has to be Suarez.
Every week there was a goal, every week there was an impossible moment, and alongside him was Daniel Sturridge, where they formed an incredible partnership, and their partnership didn't just score goals, it overwhelmed teams. And then even came the explosion, where we started seeing hat-tricks, longer range goals, and even defenders getting torn apart. The best example that season again is Norwich, because again against Norwich it stopped being football, it sometimes felt personal. In that season he became the first player to score 3 hat-tricks against the same old club, and in that match where he scored a quadruple, just go and see the first goal. Oh my god, that was pure Luis Suarez. And for a few months really, nobody could stop him. No defenders, not pressure, not any tactics. While Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo were dominating Europe, Luis Suarez was dominating England. And at the end of the season, he delivers what he had promised, bringing back Liverpool where they belong, in USL football, Champions League football. And individually, what a season. 31 goals in 33 appearances, going with that 12 assists. Player of the Year, Fans Player of the Year, joint most goals in a single Premier League season, a Golden Boot of course, and even a European Golden Shoe. Let that sink in the same era of Messi and Ronaldo, because for that season he wasn't just the best striker in England, he was the best player in the world. And just when he reached the top, it happened again. The same chaos that made him special made him cross the line, and this time it was on the biggest stage at the World Cup in Brazil. So it's Uruguay vs Italy, and it's a tense game, everything is on the line, and in one moment he loses control. He bites Giorgio Chiellini, not from frustration, not from emotion, but again I think it's from just pure chaos. And this time it's not like in the Premier League, the whole world is watching, so the FIFA doesn't really accept that, and it's a big suspension for him, months out of football. And just like that, the peak was over. Because you can build around talent, but you can't control chaos forever. And that summer the story ended, and the only way it could have ended, by a new chapter. So Liverpool accepted a record 75 million bid from Barcelona, and it was a new chapter for Luis Suarez and the end of something really unforgettable. 3 seasons, that's all it took, but in those 3 seasons Luis Suarez showed something football often forgets, that there is beauty in chaos. Most players played safe, they followed the rules, they're perfect, unforgettable. Suarez wasn't. He was brilliant, he was unpredictable, and sometimes he went too far, but that's exactly what made him unforgettable. Because the player we remember the most aren't always the perfect ones, they are the ones who refuse to be controlled.
I actually think he's the best centre forward in the world for like 3 or 4 years, not just at Liverpool, that last year at Liverpool, and what he did for Barcelona for the next 2 or 3 years.
So guys, I hope you liked this video, and if you enjoyed this video, and if you want me also to have the same career as Luis Suarez but on YouTube here, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.